Picture this. Your favorite team is fresh off a playoff run, boasts a slew of proven young stars. They've bolstered their weak points with savvy trades during the offseason. They have the defending Calder Trophy winner and the current Calder favorite, and somehow they have the second best prospect pool in the NHL. Of course, I'm talking about the Montreal Canadiens and those lucky fans who get to root for them. And wouldn't you agree that they have the NHL's brightest future? Welcome to a San Jose Sharks fan's perspective of the loaded Montreal Canadiens prospect pool. This system ranges from the bluest of blue chip talent to countless other NHL caliber prospects. This video is part of my series where I'm ranking my top 5 NHL prospect pools. And as I said earlier, I believe the Montreal Canadiens have the second best prospect pool in the entire NHL. See my grading criteria in this series' first video linked below. Here are my top 10 prospects in the Canadian system. And Habs fans, am I on point here or am I way off? Comment your thoughts below. Starting out at number 1, we have Ivan Demidov. And that is also the same spot I put him when I graded my top 50 prospects in the entire NHL. Demidov is the epitome of high octane and skill beyond belief. Feels like every shift Demidov is doing something that leaves my mouth on the floor. The numbers he put up last season in the KHL were insane. Let me preface these numbers by saying that the KHL is a brutal league to score in, and on top of that, Demidov averaged less than 14 minutes of on-ice time per game. Even with those limitations, he not only had a great season, but exceeded the lofty expectations I had for him. If you've watched any tape on Demidov, you know that every game, every shift, he jumps off the tape. His ridiculous ability to puck handle in tight spaces, set up teammates, or finish it off himself are such a deadly and rare combination of skills that for me, there is no question he will be the player who drives offense for you at the next level. Frankly, I'm still blown away that you guys were able to get Demidov number 5 in the 2024 draft. But whatever magic Kent Hughes is operating out there in Montreal, pray that he keeps it going. As for Demidov, there isn't a player I'm more excited to watch this year and is easily my Calder favorite. Next, I have Jacob Fowler, who is a stud of a goalie prospect. He's actually my second favorite goalie prospect in the entire NHL, just behind Yaroslav Askarov. His numbers at Boston College this year were insane. A 940 save percentage and a Hobey Baker nominee? Are you kidding me? Fowler's critics will say he's too small, but they must not have seen what Dustin Wolf just did this season, and apparently we're calling 6'2" too small now. Fowler also looked pretty sharp in his limited games with Laval in the AHL. I'm so excited to see what he can do with the whole season in the AHL, and for me, Fowler for sure has number 1 goalie potential in Montreal. At 3, I have David Reinbacher, and anyone that's followed Reinbacher's career know that the last couple of years have been hampered due to injury. That is unfortunate because those years are super important for development, but I'm still high on him, and everything that I've read says that he's back at 100%. At the time he was drafted, I was a huge fan of his in the Swiss League. Reinbacher has great defensive tools and plays a very reliable and mature game. He possesses really solid speed and physicality. Once again, the injuries have been super frustrating because whenever Reinbacher's been on the ice, he has looked the part. I'm not sure if Reinbacher will turn into a first pairing D-man, but with Noah Dobson and Lane Hudson, Montreal doesn't really need that out of him. Another intriguing player I'm stoked to see play in Laval this year. Man, Laval might actually be a really interesting and fun team to watch this year. At 4, I have Michael Hage, who impressed me by putting up over a point per game on a pretty bad Michigan team. His specialty is using his amazing puck handling to deke out and expose defenders before setting up his own teammates for goal scoring opportunities. On the rush is where Hage is most dangerous. While not a lock, I could definitely see him grow into a second line center role in Montreal. And you know what? I have a hot take here. With Hage returning to Michigan, look for him to make some noise in the Hobey Baker race. Alexander Zarovsky is next, and even with Montreal trading away both their first for Noah Dobson, they still got a first-round caliber player in Zarovsky. For those of you who haven't already spent some time watching his game, the one takeaway you will have is how ridiculously skilled this dude is. I can't tell you how many times I was shocked at his ability to maneuver through tight spaces and still maintain control. Zarovsky is a high upside player who has to add some weight to his frame. I just had a thought. Between Demidov, Page, and Zarovsky, Montreal has to have the best puck handling prospect core in the NHL, right? Let me know if you agree. At 6, I have Owen Beck, and if anyone on this entire list is going to make the NHL, it's Owen Beck. He's the kind of guy who's going to be in the NHL for a very long time due to the fact he possesses such a well-rounded toolkit. Beck can make an impact on the ice even when he doesn't show up on the score sheet. He's got great acceleration, which is a really good complement to his 200-foot game. I was constantly impressed with how responsible he looked on defense, but on top of that, Beck showed up on offense as well. I really do believe that Beck has the opportunity to grow into one of the most impactful third-line centers in the entire league, and we've seen from the Florida Panthers how crucial that is. At 7, Oliver Kapanen is another solid 200-foot center. Putting up nearly a point per game in the SHL was very impressive. While not the fastest skater, Kapanen more than makes up for it with his agility. He's really good at pulling in defenders and capitalizing on the open ice by finding teammates in scoring positions. Kapanen is the type of player you want on your power play and your penalty kill. I haven't seen a ton of people talking about Kapanen yet, which is kind of surprising me, but don't expect that to last for long. And man, is Montreal loaded at the center position. Okay, call me crazy, but next I have LJ Mooney. And haters will look at his size and immediately write him off, but please, if you're one of those people, first watch his game. Mooney is as speedy and dynamic as they come. Also, he might be the feistiest 5'7" hockey player I've ever seen. The pace and explosiveness he plays with constantly catches opposing defenders off guard, which he's able to often turn into scoring opportunities. Mooney's first instinct is always to pass and create for his teammates, but he's got a good shot also. I know you can't count on a guy putting on a couple inches, but if Mooney does grow, man, this could be another gem in the rough. And the last time Montreal took a chance on an undersized American, it worked out for them. Next, I have Bogdan Konyushkov, who is kind of in the same vein as a player like Lane Hudson, an undersized-ish D-man with some great offensive instincts. Despite being undersized, by the way, I don't consider him undersized at 6 feet, but I've seen a lot of people throw that at him. But despite that, Konyushkov plays with a surprising amount of physicality. This last year in the KHL was kind of a down year for him, and I do believe that he has signed for another season out there in Russia, so his NHL future may be a little up in the air right now. Nonetheless, still a very intriguing prospect. Lastly, at 10, I have Adam Engstrom, and I'm kind of worried I have him a little too low on this list due to how easy he made adjusting to the AHL look. 27 points from a D-man is no joke. I kept waiting for him to be called up to Montreal last year with how well he played in the AHL, but I guess the Habs are pretty set on that blue line, huh? Engstrom plays with a lot of speed and is great at turning defense into offense in the transition. We'll see what his future holds in Montreal. Engstrom has always been able to step up his game when asked. Like I always do, I want to give 3 honorable mentions. Atos Koivu, and gosh, I can never say this guy's name right, but Florian Zeka, let me know if I got that right, and Sam Harris. Clear strength of the system is in its absurd high-end potential, especially with Demidov and Fowler. And I love how to every position, you either have a elite blue-chip prospect or guys just waiting to take the next step. A lot of systems that I look at, most of their guys are years away from making an impact in the NHL, but I really think that Montreal's system is a lot closer. Most of these guys are ready to make an impact this season or in just another year. When you have the second best prospect pool in the NHL, it's really hard to find a weakness, but if I had to nitpick, you'd say it's probably in the depth, even though that's not really weakness. But you look at San Jose's or Chicago's, and you'd probably say there's a little more depth in those systems. But what I care most about is high-end potential, and there's no denying it. Montreal can hang with anybody there. But there you have it. That's my case for why the Montreal Canadiens have the brightest future in the NHL, and even though they don't land at number 1 this year in my prospect pool rankings, when combined with their amazing proven young stars already and other elite players in their organization, you can't deny that they are set up for the best future. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Also, if you like hockey content, check out some of my other videos. Alright, have a good one, guys. Bye.